My fiancé laughed. Cute how you get jealous when I see my ex. Guess you're not husband material, just a practice. I stayed silent. The next day, her stuff was boxed up and delivered to her ex's front door. Hey Reddit, I, 32 male, have been running commercial builds in Houston for 6 years. My fiancée Sienna, 31 female, works in pharmaceutical sales and has been living in my house for 3 years. Not renting, not on paperwork, just there, which mattered later. It started 6 weeks back. Tuesday night, maybe 10 p.m. I was on the couch, half watching some documentary about deep-sea creatures. She comes home from happy hour and I catch it, cologne. Men's cologne. Expensive, woody, the kind that costs $180 and lingers for hours. Not mine. I wear nothing but deodorant. Week 2, her phone behavior flipped completely. Used to leave her iPhone face up everywhere. Kitchen counter, nightstand, coffee table. Then suddenly face down. Always on Do Not Disturb. Changed her passcode too. Used to be 0815, her birthday. I noticed because she fumbled it one morning and had to try 3 times to get in with the new code. Little things that add up. Then the showers started. For 3 years, Sienna showered in the morning, like clockwork. 6:45 a.m. every single day. Then she starts showering the second she walks through the door. Every time she comes home late. Before taking off her shoes, before petting Murphy, before saying hello, straight to the bathroom. 15 minutes minimum. I'm not paranoid. I'm observant. There's a difference. Week 2, I started a spreadsheet. You track concrete pours and equipment schedules for a living, you can track a cheating fiancé. Logged every late night, every dinner with Kendra, every time she came home smelling wrong. Timestamps, notes, patterns. Patterns emerged fast. She was seeing him Tuesdays and Thursdays consistently. Weekends when I had site inspections, she'd suddenly have errands that took 4 hours. One Saturday, I was supposed to be at a job in Katy all day. Came home early because the inspector canceled. Her car was gone. She didn't get back until 6 p.m. Said she'd been at Target and the grocery store all afternoon. I checked the Target receipt she left on the counter that night. Time-stamped 5:34 p.m. 30 minutes of shopping doesn't take 4 hours. The other 3.5 hours went somewhere else. I started checking the mileage on her Lexus. She claimed she went to Kendra's place in Sugarland for dinner one Thursday. Kendra lives 18 miles from our house. Checked the odometer before she left and after she got back. Sienna's car showed 67 additional miles. Sugarland and back, 36 miles max. Where'd the extra 31 miles go? Week 3, I did something I'm not proud of, but won't apologize for either. She left her MacBook open while she took a bath. Bathroom door closed, music playing. Same Apple ID as her phone. Messages sync automatically unless you disable it. She hadn't disabled it. Found a thread labeled, Dr. Hammond, urgent. The contact photo was blank. No face, no name saved properly. The messages were definitely not about pharmaceutical orders. Miss what we had. Can't stop thinking about last weekend. When are you free again? She's asleep. Wish you were here instead. That last one was from her. Time-stamped 1:47 a.m. on a Saturday. I'd been in bed 2 feet away. Thought she was scrolling Instagram. I took 43 screenshots. Every message going back 4 months. Some from when we were actively shopping for wedding venues. Messages sent while she sat across from me at dinner, pretending to check work emails. One message stopped me cold. Can't wait until this is over and we can be together for real. His response, soon. Just play it cool until after the wedding. Then we'll have the payout. The payout. They were planning to marry me. Wait 6 months or a year, file for divorce and split assets. Texas is a community property state. My house, which I bought outright before we met, would potentially be on the table depending on how they played it. A long con with a white dress and open bar. I kept scrolling. Found a message from 3 weeks back where he'd sent his address. 1847 Oak Bend Trail, Unit 12. She'd replied with a heart emoji and on my way. I saved that one too. Checked Google Maps. Distance from our house to 1847 Oak Bend Trail, 15.4 miles. One way, round trip with a stop in Sugarland as cover. The mileage math worked out perfectly. Saved them all to an encrypted folder on my personal laptop. Cleared the search history on her MacBook. Closed the laptop exactly how she'd left it. Angled the same way. Same apps in the dock. From that moment, I was already gone. She just didn't know it yet. The next 3 weeks were pure reconnaissance. I started tracking patterns even more carefully. What nights she claimed to be with her work friend Kendra. What times she got home. I cross-referenced everything against Kendra's Facebook posts. Turned out Kendra was pretty active on social media. Half the night Sienna said they were at dinner, Kendra was posting from home with her kids. Photos time-stamped 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m. Clearly not at any restaurant. The lies were sloppy. That's what bothered me most. She wasn't even trying hard. Like she assumed I was too stupid or too trusting to connect the dots. Or maybe she just didn't care anymore. Maybe she'd already mentally checked out and was just going through the motions until the wedding. Either way, I had my answer. So there I was, Thursday night, watching her in the TV reflection, running through my exit strategy one more time. I already knew she was cheating, had the evidence locked down, timeline documented, plan mapped out. I just needed one more thing before I executed. How was dinner with Kendra? I asked. Casual. Even. Totally normal question. She'd texted earlier saying she was grabbing sushi with her work friend. Same lie she'd used at least 8 times in the past month. She didn't look up from her phone. Good. Where'd you go? That place on Westheimer, near the Whole Foods. The lies came out smooth as glass. No hesitation, no tell. She'd been practicing this for months, probably longer than I even suspected. I wondered how many times she'd sat across from me, smiled, kissed me goodnight, all while planning her exit with someone else. Interesting, I said. Left it hanging there. Then I went for the throat. Weird, though. Kendra posted about an hour ago. She was at home making Halloween costumes with her daughters. Posted like 6 photos, time-stamped and everything. Looked pretty domestic. I watched her reflection in the TV. Caught that micro freeze, the split second before her brain kicked into damage control. Her thumb stopped scrolling. Her shoulders tensed slightly. Most people, when caught lying, will scramble, make excuses, try to explain, say they meant a different Kendra, or got the days mixed up. Sienna didn't. She just looked at me, slowly, deliberately, with this expression I'd never seen before. Cold, almost amused. Like a mask had slipped and I was finally seeing what lived underneath. So? She said. I wasn't with Kendra? The room went dead quiet. Murphy lifted his head from his dog bed, sensing the shift in energy. Who were you with? She smiled. Not a nice smile. The kind of smile people make when they're about to twist the knife and they want you to see them enjoying it. Garrett, my ex. She said it like she was reading a grocery list. We've been seeing each other again. Reconnecting. Getting back what we should have never lost. I said nothing. Just looked at her. What? She tilted her head, studying me like I was something under a microscope. You gonna cry? Throw a tantrum? Storm off like some emotional little boy? Still nothing. She laughed. That condescending rich girl laugh I'd heard her use on waiters and customer service reps. Oh my God, this is pathetic. You're really just going to sit there? No big dramatic reaction? I took a sip of my water, set it down carefully on the coaster, looked her straight in the eyes. She was waiting for something. Tears, anger, begging. The stuff she'd probably rehearsed responses to in her head. The playbook everyone follows when they get caught. Keep going, I said. I'm listening. That threw her off. She wanted fireworks. Instead, she got ice. Fine. She leaned forward, warming up now, really getting into her performance. You want the truth? Here it is. You're not husband material. You were never husband material. You're a project manager who thinks he's going somewhere. You drive a truck. You smell like sawdust half the time. You come home with concrete dust on your boots. A project manager, I corrected, making $140,000 a year, who owns his house outright. No mortgage. But continue. Her face flickered. That wasn't in her script. Whatever. The point is, your practice, a placeholder, someone to keep the bed warm until something real came along. And guess what? It did. Garrett. Yes, Garrett. He's a financial advisor. He wears suits to work. He knows how to network at charity events without looking uncomfortable. He has a future. You have what? Blueprints and dirt under your fingernails? I nodded slowly. Interesting. How long? Does it matter? Humor me. She shrugged. 4 months. Ever since we ran into each other at that charity thing in River Oaks, the one you didn't want to go to because you had to be up early for a concrete pour. Remember? You made me go alone. The Children's Hospital fundraiser. Yeah, that one. We got talking at the bar. Remembered why we worked so well together in college. Started meeting up for coffee, then lunch, then other things. She laughed again. And honestly, it was so easy. You never suspected a thing. I'd tell you I was with Kendra, and you'd just believe me. Like a puppy. So trusting. I see. That's it? I see? She stood up, frustrated now. God, even now you're boring. You can't even fight back properly. This is exactly why Garrett and I work. He's passionate. He takes what he wants. You just accept things. I stood up too. Looked down at her. I've got 4 inches on her. You done? I what? Is there anything else you want to say? Any other speeches you've rehearsed? Because I've got things to do tomorrow. And if you're finished performing, I'd like to get some sleep. Her face went from triumphant to confused to angry in about 3 seconds. Performing? I'm telling you I've been sleeping with my ex for 4 months, and you're acting like I just told you I bought the wrong brand of coffee. Noted. Thanks for the honesty. Good night. I grabbed my pillow off the couch. Where are you going? To sleep. You can have the bedroom. I'll take the couch. That's it? You're not even going to fight for me? I stopped, turned around, looked at her one more time. Fight for you? Sienna, you just told me I'm practice. That you've been running around behind my back for a third of a year. That I smell like sawdust and don't have a future. And you want me to fight for that? Nah, I'm good. Sleep well. She stood there sputtering as I stretched out on the couch. I could feel her staring at me, waiting for the explosion that wasn't coming. Your silence is frustrating me. The words hung in the air. I let them sit. Didn't defend myself. Didn't argue. She wanted a reaction. That's what this whole performance was, bait. She wanted me to scream, to beg, to break down so she could feel powerful, so she could tell herself she was the one ending things, that she was in control of the narrative. I gave her nothing. The second you give them the emotional response they're fishing for, you've handed them the ammunition. They get to be the victim. They get to tell everyone how crazy you acted. They get to justify everything they did because look how he reacted. She huffed, annoyed that I wouldn't play along. Whatever. She stood up, grabbed her phone. I'm going to bed. When you're ready to act like a man about this, let me know. She walked to the bedroom, slammed the door hard enough to rattle the framed Astros jersey on the wall. I just sat there, remote in one hand, phone in the other. Murphy came over and put his head on my knee. She'd admitted it, put it on record. That's all I needed. I grabbed my pillow, stretched out on the couch, and spent the night running through logistics, not sleeping, planning. By 4:30 a.m., I had the entire operation mapped out, not the emotional revenge fantasy where you scream and destroy things and feel worse after. The cold kind, the surgical kind, the kind where you remove someone from your life so efficiently that by the time they realize what happened, it's already over. Her alarm went off at 6:30. I heard her moving around in the bedroom, shower running, hairdryer, closet doors, the normal routine like nothing had happened, like she hadn't just blown up 3 years in one conversation. She came out dressed for work, navy suit, heels, makeup, perfect. Hair straightened. She grabbed her purse from the kitchen counter, checked her reflection in the hallway mirror, adjusted her engagement ring, the one I'd dropped $4,200 on, after she casually mentioned she liked emerald cuts while we walked past a jewelry store. Then she walked right past me like I was furniture. Didn't say a word, didn't even make eye contact. Classic manipulation tactic, the silent treatment. Make me feel guilty for catching her. Make me chase her. Make me apologize for having the audacity to notice her affair. The front door opened, closed. Her heels clicked down the walkway. I waited 5 minutes. Enough time for her to get to her Lexus and be halfway to her office. Then I got to work. First call, my foreman Dante. Hey, I need the day. Family emergency. You good? Will be. Cover the Memorial City job? Done. Call if you need anything. Hung up. Next call. U-Haul on I-10. Had boxes delivered to my truck in 20 minutes. Started in the bathroom. Swept her entire counter into box 1. Face creams, serums, makeup palettes, hair products. That jade roller she bought after watching TikTok. The $80 shampoo she special ordered. All of it. Moved to the closet. Her side was organized by color. I packed it the same way. Kept everything neat. Folded the expensive pieces. Wrapped the shoes individually. Inside the nightstand drawer on her side, I found a moleskin notebook I'd never seen before. Underneath it, a cheap prepaid phone. A burner. I powered it on. 4 months of text to G confirming everything I'd already seen on the MacBook. Plus, hotel confirmations forwarded to this number. Receipts attached. She'd been thorough about hiding her tracks. Just not thorough enough. Flipped open the notebook. Wedding planning notes. Seating charts. Guest lists. Nothing unusual until page 43. A pros and cons list comparing me to Garrett. 2 columns. My column had things like stable income and good house and doesn't ask questions. Garrett's column had passion and chemistry and the one that got away. She'd drawn little hearts around his name, like a teenager with a crush, while wearing my ring. I photographed every page, added it to the evidence folder, packed the notebook and the burner phone right on top of the box. Let Evelyn find those first. 30 boxes total. 3 years of an engagement. Everything packed carefully, labeled, organized. I took photos of each box contents before sealing them. Documentation matters. Always has in my line of work. No one could say I threw her stuff in garbage bags or destroyed anything. Then I grabbed my laptop and did the most important part. Googled same-day courier Houston. Top result, roadie. Filled out the form. Pickup, my address. Delivery, 1847 Oak Bend Trail, Unit 12. Delivery contact, Sienna's cell. Special instructions, 30 boxes, handle with care. Confirm delivery with photo. Total, $340. Submitted. Then I ordered pizza. Domino's. Large meat lovers, extra cheese, jalapenos. The kind she always said was too greasy and made me feel bad for ordering. Doorbell rang 45 minutes later. Two guys in roadie shirts. They loaded everything in 5 trips. Professional. Quick. They left. Then I walked back inside. The house was quiet. Really quiet. No diffuser humming lavender. No music from her Bluetooth speaker. Just peace. I checked the roadie tracking around 5:45 p.m. Status, delivered. Location, 1847 Oak Bend Trail, Unit 12. Photo confirmation showing 30 boxes stacked neatly on a covered patio. Front door half open in the frame, someone already accepting delivery. What I didn't know at the time was that Garrett wasn't living alone. He had a live-in girlfriend named Evelyn. Had been with her for 2 years, so Sienna's boxes didn't just show up at her ex's place. They showed up where he lived with his girlfriend of 2 years. 30 boxes containing love letters. Hotel receipts with Garrett's name on the reservation. The burner phone with 4 months of messages. A wedding binder with Garrett's name circled on the guest list, plus notes in Sienna's handwriting about what kind of scotch he liked and where to seat him at the reception. Murphy was in the backyard. I let him in, gave him some treats, and we watched the game together. Astros versus Rangers. Peace and quiet in my own house. My dog Murphy. I adopted him from Houston SPCA right after I bought the house. Chipped in my name. Vet bills on my card going back 4 years. Adoption paperwork in my email. This becomes extremely relevant. Around 7:30 p.m., my phone started blowing up. Missed calls from Sienna. Voicemails. Texts flooding in one after another. Where is everything? Answer your phone. This is insane. You can't just take all my things? Am calling the police? You're a psycho. Where did you put my stuff? I didn't respond. Just saved everything. Screenshots. Timestamps. Then around 8:15 p.m., I heard a car pull into the driveway. Fast. Door slamming hard. Heels on concrete moving quick. She had a key. I'd forgotten about that. The front door flew open. Sienna stormed in looking completely unhinged. Mascara smeared down her cheeks. Hair half down from the ponytail. The polished pharmaceutical sales rep look was completely gone. She looked like she'd been crying for hours. "Where is everything?" she shouted. "What did you do?" I was sitting on the couch with Murphy, remote in hand. Didn't stand up. "Your belongings were professionally delivered to you this afternoon. 30 boxes, full insurance, photographic confirmation of safe arrival." "Delivered where?" 1847 Oak Bend Trail, Unit 12. Her face went white. "You sent my stuff to Garrett's? You said you were reconnecting. Figured you'd want your things close by. His girlfriend was home. She went through everything. There were love letters in those boxes. She found the burner phone. She knows everything now. Sounds like a personal problem." Her whole body tensed. I could see her processing it, running the math. Everything she'd hidden for 4 months. Every secret, every lie, every burner phone message, sitting in cardboard boxes in Evelyn's living room. The woman she didn't know existed until 5 minutes ago now had the full picture. She started pacing. Wild energy, hands shaking. Then her eyes landed on Murphy, who was sitting next to me with his tail tucked, sensing the tension. "Fine. I'm taking the dog." She walked toward him, grabbed his leash from the hook by the door where it always hung, clipped it to his collar before I could even process what was happening. Murphy looked confused, tail half wagging because she'd been part of his life for 3 years and he didn't understand what was happening. She grabbed his travel crate from the hallway closet, started toward the door with both, dragging Murphy behind her. "Put the leash down!" She kept moving, yanking Murphy toward the front door. He was resisting now, confused, looking back at me. Dogs know when something's wrong. I stood up, positioned myself between her and the exit, not touching her, just standing there, blocking the doorway. "Put the leash down. He's my dog too. I've been taking care of him for 3 years. I'm the one who walks him when you're at work. He's chipped in my name. Vet bills on my card. SPCA adoption paperwork has my signature. He stays." She tried to push past me. I didn't move. She yanked Murphy's leash hard, trying to pull him toward the door. He whimpered. "Get out of my way, Sienna. Let go of the leash." She stepped backward, still pulling. Murphy was digging in now. All 4 paws braced against the hardwood, not wanting to go with her. She took another step back toward the stairs that led down to the foyer, 3 steps down to the landing. Then she lost her footing. I watched it happen in slow motion. Her heel caught on the lip of the top step. She stumbled backward, arms windmilling, reaching for something to grab. The leash flew out of her hand as she went down. She tumbled down 3 stairs. Not the whole flight, just 3. Landed on her back on the landing with a thud. I didn't touch her. Not once. Didn't reach out. Didn't grab. The cameras got all of it. She lay there for a second, breathing hard. Then she sat up, looked at me, and her entire expression changed. He pushed me. She said it loud, clear, like she was performing for an audience that wasn't there. You pushed me down the stairs. I didn't say anything, just looked at her. She grabbed the hoodie that was draped over the railing, a gray one she'd left there weeks ago, and pressed it against her forehead. There was no blood, maybe a small bump from where she'd hit the wall on the way down. But she was holding that hoodie against her head like she was trying to stop arterial bleeding, pressing hard, making a face like she was in serious pain. You're going to jail for this, she said. Domestic violence. Assault. You're done. She pulled out her phone, dialed 911, put it on speaker so I could hear everything. 911? What's your emergency? My fiancé just pushed me down the stairs. I'm bleeding from my head. I need help. This is domestic violence. Please send someone. She gave them the address, the whole time pressing that hoodie to her head like it was a battlefield triage situation. Real tears streaming now, voice shaking perfectly. When she hung up, she looked at me with this smug expression, like she'd just won the whole game. I pulled out my own phone, called 911. Hi, there's been an accident at my residence. A woman fell down some stairs. She may have hit her head. I'd like to request an ambulance to check her out. Sienna's face flickered. She wasn't expecting me to call for help too. Wasn't expecting me to sound calm. What are you doing? She hissed. Making sure you get checked out. Head injuries can be serious. While we waited, she kept up the performance, started breathing heavily, put her hand on her chest, moaning softly. Then, when she realized I wasn't panicking, wasn't scrambling, wasn't begging, something shifted. Quick background on the house setup. About 2 years ago, after some tools got lifted from one of my job sites, I got paranoid about security. Insurance adjuster said my premiums would drop if I had cameras, so I installed a Ring system. Doorbell cam. 2 interior cameras in the living room and kitchen, 1 in the garage. The living room camera had a clear view of the stairs leading down to the foyer. Never thought twice about them after installation. They just ran in the background, uploading to the cloud, motion-activated recordings stored for 30 days. Peace of mind I forgot I had until I needed. And that's what she didn't think of. Her eyes went unfocused. Her breathing got shallow and fast. And then she just kind of crumpled, slid down against the wall, eyes closed, limp, adrenaline dump, panic attack. Or the performance was escalating because the first act wasn't getting the reaction she wanted. Either way, she was on the floor now, making it look like she'd passed out. I stood at the top of the stairs, watched from a distance, didn't approach, didn't touch her. Murphy was beside me, whimpering, confused. Cops showed up first. 2 officers. They came in already tense, hands near their belts. Domestic call. They treat those serious. They're trained to. One officer went immediately to Sienna, who had miraculously regained consciousness and was now crying softly while still pressing the hoodie to her completely uninjured forehead. The other officer approached me. Sir, I need you to step outside with me. Happy to. But first, I need to tell you something. I have interior cameras, Ring system plus 2 indoor cams. Everything that happened in this house tonight is recorded and backed up to the cloud, including her falling by herself while trying to take my dog. The officer's expression changed slightly. You have footage? Living room camera covers the stairs. Got everything. I can pull it up right now on my phone. They separated us. Standard procedure. EMTs arrived a few minutes later. They checked Sienna's head thoroughly. No laceration. No concussion symptoms. Pupils equal and reactive. Minor bump. Probably wouldn't even bruise. She refused transport to the hospital. The officers huddled together outside for a minute, talking low. Then the senior one came back to me. You said you have footage. Can we see it? I pulled it up on my phone, opened the Ring app, pulled up the recording from the living room camera, time-stamped 20 minutes earlier, handed it over. The video was crystal clear. Her grabbing the dog leash, clipping it on, me blocking the door, her stepping backward while yanking the leash, her heel catching on the step, her falling down 3 stairs entirely on her own. No contact whatsoever. My hands never touched her. Then her sitting up and immediately saying, "He pushed me." The officer watched it twice, then showed it to his partner. They replayed the fall 3 times. The younger officer let out a low whistle and shook his head. Didn't say anything. Didn't have to. Sir, do you have documentation of dog ownership? I pulled up the SPCA adoption paperwork on my email. The microchip registration from home again, showing my name and address. 4 years of vet bills from Banfield Pet Hospital, all on my credit card. Screenshot after screenshot. She doesn't live here? She was a guest. No lease agreement. Not on any utilities. Not on the deed. My real estate attorney confirmed she has no legal occupancy claim. I delivered all her belongings this afternoon via licensed courier. They went back to Sienna. I couldn't hear the full conversation, but I could see her face through the window. Watched it go from tearful victim to confused to angry to scared in about 30 seconds. One of the officers came back to me. Sir, we're not going to pursue any charges against you. The footage clearly shows she fell on her own. There was no contact. We've advised her that filing a false police report is a crime in Texas, and that attempting to take your registered property, including the dog, could result in charges against her. I nodded. Appreciate it. We're going to ask her to leave the premises. Do you want us to stay while she gathers any remaining personal items? Everything of hers was already delivered to another address this afternoon. 30 boxes. She doesn't have anything here anymore. Sienna was escorted out by the officers. No cuffs. Just a firm suggestion that she leave immediately and not return without law enforcement present. She stopped at the doorway, looked at me with pure hatred. Makeup completely ruined now. Hair a mess. The hoodie still clutched in her hand. I looked back. Then I reached into my pocket and pulled out her engagement ring. I'd noticed it on the landing after she fell. Must have slipped off when she hit the floor. Picked it up while the officers were talking to her outside. I held it up so she could see it. The emerald cut catching the porch light. Didn't say anything dramatic, just put it back in my pocket. Her face crumbled. We're done, I said. The officers walked her to her car. I watched from the doorway until she drove off. Waited until her taillights disappeared around the corner. Then I closed the door. Locked it. Deadbolt and chain. Murphy came running up, tail wagging now that the tension was gone. I scratched behind his ears. Good boy. Not going anywhere, buddy. The house was quiet. Finally quiet. The fallout happened fast, but I stayed out of most of it. From what I pieced together through mutual friends, Garrett's girlfriend Evelyn had gone through all 30 boxes that afternoon. Found the love letters, handwritten ones from Sienna, talking about their future together. Found the hotel receipts with Garrett's name on the reservations for rooms booked on Tuesday and Thursday afternoons. Found the burner phone with 4 months of messages planning their reunion. Their 2-year relationship ended that night. Evelyn apparently posted everything on Facebook before blocking Garrett. Screenshots of the messages, photos of the receipts, a detailed timeline of the affair, tagged both of them. Their entire social circle saw it before either of them could do damage control. Mutual friends started picking sides. Most of them picked Evelyn. Evelyn had called Garrett screaming while he was still at work. He came home to find his stuff being thrown into boxes. Neighbors heard everything. Someone in the complex called the apartment office about the noise. But here's where it gets interesting. Garrett panicked, tried to do damage control, reached out to Sienna saying they needed to cool things off until everything blew over. Said it was too hot right now, and they should lay low for a few months. Sienna, who had just been publicly humiliated and escorted out of my house by police officers after trying to fake an assault, did not take that well. She started texting him constantly, calling at all hours, showing up at his apartment building. Garrett's response? He blocked her number, changed his locks, told the front desk not to let her up. The guy who was planning to run a divorce scam with her, who she'd burned her engagement for, who she'd called her real future, just ghosted her the second things got complicated. I found out through mutual friends that Garrett and Evelyn actually got back together about a month later. Evelyn took him back. Don't ask me why. They moved to Austin together shortly after. Fresh start away from the mess. Sienna ended up back at her mom's house in Katy. Lost her apartment deposit because she couldn't afford it on her own. Had to explain to her entire family why her engagement ended and why 30 boxes of her belongings had been delivered to her affair partner's apartment. I didn't pursue any lawsuits. Didn't need to. The natural consequences were brutal enough. Sold the engagement ring 2 weeks later. Jeweler in the Heights gave me $2,800 for it. Less than I paid, but more than it was worth to me sitting in a drawer. Put the money toward a new grill for the backyard. Murphy approved. Last I heard from the friend group, she was working retail at some department store in the Galleria. Entry level, commission-based. Starting over at 31 with a gap on her resume, she couldn't explain honestly. 6 months of peace. Murphy and I settled into a routine. Morning runs before work. Evening walks around the neighborhood. Weekends at the dog park. I took on a new project at work. 12-story mixed-use building downtown. Good money, good distraction. Kept me busy enough that I didn't think about her much. Changed the locks 3 days after she left. Got a new security code for the garage. Updated the Ring app with different passwords. Standard post-breakup security protocol. The locksmith who came out had clearly seen this before. Didn't ask questions. Just did the job. Then one Saturday afternoon, doorbell rang. I checked the Ring app first. Habit now after everything that happened. Sienna, standing on my porch, looking rough. thinner than before, dark circles under her eyes, hair pulled back in a messy ponytail instead of the perfect blowout she used to maintain. No makeup. Completely different from the polished woman who used to live here. I considered not answering, but curiosity won. Opened the door, didn't step outside, didn't invite her in. Murphy was behind me, tail not wagging this time. Dogs remember. Hey, she said, voice small. Can we talk? About what? I wanted to apologize. For everything. I made so many mistakes. I was confused. I was stupid. Garrett was a mistake and I knew it the whole time, but I just got caught up in something and I didn't know how to stop it. I didn't say anything. I lost my job. Had to move back in with my mom. My car got repossessed because I couldn't make the payments. Garrett won't even talk to me anymore. He's with Evelyn now. They're engaged. Did you know that? He's marrying her. She waited for a reaction. Sympathy, maybe. Some sign that I cared about her suffering. I've been thinking about us a lot. About what we had before I messed it all up. We were good together, weren't we? Before everything, we could try again. I've changed so much. I've learned so much about myself through all of this. She reached out like she was going to touch my arm. I stepped back. Sienna, you called me practice. A placeholder. You planned to divorce me for a payout with a guy who ghosted you. You tried to steal my dog. You faked a fall down my stairs and told the police I pushed you. You looked me in the eye while doing all of it. I know. I was horrible. A horrible person. But people change. People deserve second chances. Haven't you ever made a mistake? I looked at her for a long moment. She had this desperate hope in her eyes. The look of someone who's run out of options and is trying to backtrack to the last safe place they remember. No. What? No. You don't get a second chance. Not here. Not with me. But I said I was sorry. I admitted everything. I'm taking full responsibility. What else do you want me to do? Nothing. That's the point. There's nothing you can do. You made choices every single day for 4 months. These are the consequences. I'm not your backup plan. I was never your backup plan. I was just convenient until something better came along. Her face crumbled. Tears started. Real ones this time, I think. Hard to tell with her. Please, I have nowhere else to go. I can't do this alone. My mom is driving me crazy. I have no money. No job. No future. Everything fell apart. You should have thought about that before you burned everything down for a guy who ghosted you the second things got hard. I stepped back, grabbed the door. Don't come back here. Don't call me. Don't text me. Don't show up at my job. We're done. We've been done for 6 months. I closed the door in her face, locked it. Through the window, I watched her stand there on my porch for a full minute, just staring at the door. Then she turned and walked back to her car. Some old Honda Civic now? Probably borrowed from her mom. Not the Lexus. She drove away. Murphy pressed against my leg. I scratched behind his ears. The house was quiet. My house, my dog, my life. Guys, we are so close to hit 100,000 subscribers on this channel. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. It really helps hit that 100,000 mark. Thanks for making this dream come true.